All right, it's here. The official details for JEE Main 2026 have just been announced. And if you're dreaming of becoming an engineer or an architect, this is the breakdown you've been waiting for. We're going to walk through every single key detail to get you up to speed.
So if you're planning to take the JEE Main in 2026, you're in exactly the right place. We'll get into what's new, what's staying the same, and everything you need to know to get ready.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about why JEE Main is such a critical gateway. Then, we'll dive into the all-important dates for Session 1. After that, we'll decode the exam pattern, look at a really interesting new update they're calling a smarter test experience, and finally, wrap up with how to master your application.
Okay, let's kick things off with the big picture. Really understanding why the JEE Main is the absolute gateway to your academic future.
So what exactly is it? Well, the Joint Entrance Examination, or JEE Main, is this massive national-level exam run by the National Testing Agency. You'll hear them called the NTA. Just think of it as the first major step to getting into some of the best engineering, architecture, and planning programs in the entire country.
Now, this exam really does two huge things. First, if you score well, it can get you direct admission into fantastic schools like the National Institutes of Technology, or NITs, and the Indian Institutes of Information Technology, the IITs. But second, and this is so important, it's the only way to qualify for the JEE Advanced. And that exam is the one and only gateway into the super prestigious Indian Institutes of Technology, the IITs. And just like before, you get two shots at it, one session in January and another in April.
Next up, let's talk about timing. For that first session, these are the key dates that you absolutely positively cannot afford to miss.
Okay, you might want to grab your phone and take a picture of this slide. For the January 2026 session, the application window swings open on October 31st, 2025, and it shuts on November 27th. The exams themselves will happen between January 21st and the 30th, and then the tentative date for results is February 12th. These dates are serious, so go ahead and get them into your calendar right now. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty and decode the exam pattern. Now, for anyone who's already deep into their prep, I've got some good news. The NTA has confirmed that the basic structure of the papers is not changing.
Here's how it all breaks down. There are 3 different papers. Paper 1 is the big one for most people. For BE or BTech courses, it covers physics, chem, and math, and it's a fully computer-based test, or CBT. Then you have Paper 2A for architecture. That's a bit of a mix. Math and aptitude are on the computer, but there's also a classic pen and paper drawing test. And finally, Paper 2B is for B planning, and that one is all computer-based, covering math, aptitude, and planning questions.
Now, within those papers, you'll see 2 types of questions. Section A is your classic multiple choice question, but Section B is different. You have to actually type in a numerical answer. Now, here's the really crucial part to remember. For 2026, the NTA has confirmed that both sections will have negative marking for wrong answers. That's a huge deal and something you have to factor into your test-taking strategy. Okay, now for the biggest change this year. Let's talk about what the NTA is calling a smarter test experience. This is all about some cool new upgrades to the actual exam platform you'll be using. So the NTA itself has said their goal is to give you a smoother, smarter experience. Let me be clear, this isn't about changing the test questions or making them harder. It's all about making the interface more user-friendly and comfortable for you during those 3 high-pressure hours. So what does that actually mean for you on exam day? Well, for starters, there's a new dark mode to help reduce eye strain, which is a lifesaver. You're also getting a screen magnifier so you can zoom in on tricky diagrams or small text. Plus, you can now adjust the font and cursor size to whatever works best for you. And maybe the most useful addition of all, there's an integrated on-screen calculator built right into the test platform. So, seeing all these new bells and whistles, I know what the big question on your mind is. Does any of this actually change the test itself? And the answer, thankfully, is a clear and simple no. The exam pattern and the syllabus remained exactly the same. These upgrades are all about the user experience. The core of the test, the stuff you're studying, hasn't changed at all. So you can definitely breathe a huge sigh of relief on that one. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the practical stuff. It's time to talk about mastering your application. These are the must-know rules and steps to make sure your submission is successful. The NTA has laid out 3 very simple but very strict rules. First, you have to apply online, and only through the official website jemain.nta.nic.in. Don't go anywhere else. Second, and they are not kidding about this, you can only submit one application form. If you submit more than one, they will take strict action. And third, you have to pay the fee. You can apply for just session 1 or for both sessions at the same time, but you have to complete the payment.
And here's a pretty cool number that shows just how massive this exam is. It's going to be conducted in 13 different languages. That's right, English, Hindi, and 11 other regional languages, which makes this exam truly accessible to students from every corner of India.
So, before you even think about starting your application, here is your final pre-flight checklist. First, make sure you use your own email address and mobile number, or your parents', because that's where all the official communication is going. Second, get into the habit of checking the official NTA websites regularly for any updates. And finally, please, read the information bulletin from cover to cover. Follow every single instruction, because you don't want to get disqualified over a simple mistake.
And there you have it. The dates, the pattern, the new features, the whole application process. You know the what, the when, and the how for JEE Main 2026. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready?